Hello there and welcome back to Snow Country Stories Japan. This is the first episode of Season 2 of the pod, and I'm looking forward to continuing our exploration of the snow country as we head into winter and the inevitable fantastic snow that is to come. I am your host, Peter Carnell, a freelance tour guide and writer based in Nagano, and Snow Country Stories Japan is a podcast all about life and travel in Japan's legendary Yukiguni. Today's episode brings us to Nagano Prefecture and to Japan's largest ski resort, Shiga Kogen. Shiga Kogen Mountain Resort is located to the east to northeast of Nagano City and northwest of Tokyo and sits within Japan's fourth largest national park, Yoshinetsu Kogen. As such, the mountains and alpine valleys that make up the ski resort and national park are an all-year-round destination, but today's episode is focused purely on the skiing and snowboarding in what is Japan's largest and highest ski resort. I've actually already touched upon the ski resort in episode 6, Shiga Kogen Brewery and the Artistry of Barrel-Aged Beer, as it's the resort and the area around it that the brewery takes its name from. An award-winning brewery, so if you like skiing, snowboarding and beer, and who doesn't, then that episode is one that you definitely need to listen to. In this episode, I speak with Robel Zemichael, the manager of Shiga International Ski School. Shiga International Ski School provides group and private ski and snowboard lessons, along with tours within Shiga Kogen, catering to anyone from absolute newbies to advanced skiers and boarders, and focused on international, non-Japanese speaking visitors. Robel has been in Japan for many years now and speaks about the resort with real authority. And his own story is just as interesting, but I'll leave that for him to tell. For anyone interested in their services, head to their website, shigaskischool.com. Robel is a lovely guy who loves what he does, and that attitude carries over to his clients, so get in touch. In terms of getting to Shiga Kogen, express buses operate to the resort from Nagano Station, a 70-minute to 2-hour journey depending on which part of the resort you're headed to. After all, it's a very big resort. Express buses also run from Tokyo and its airports, taking between 5 to 6 hours, with other express services also operating from other major cities. For anyone wanting to drive themselves, winter tires or chains are a must. The higher elevation of the resort means the road leading up to it is very likely to be affected by snow and ice, and should not be attempted in winter without winter tires or chains. I should mention that each episode of the pod has a page on the website, snowcountrystories.com, including relevant links and maps. Given the size of Japan's snow country and often unfamiliar place names, understanding where each episode is talking about can be confusing, so make sure to visit the episode page on the website for related maps to get your bearings and links to people and places we discuss. And now, on to today's episode. Shiga Kogen Mountain Resort is Japan's largest ski resort, boasts Japan's highest chairlifted ski run, and hosted multiple events during the 1998 Winter Olympics. It also enjoys Nagano's longest season and has a reputation for the most reliable snow in any resort in central Japan. Based in the Okushiga ski fields, Shiga Kogen International Ski School has been providing lessons and tours to international visitors for many years, going into their 9th season. And I'm lucky enough to be joined by the manager of the ski school, Robel Zemichael. Robel, how are you?
I'm good, and welcome to Okushiga.
Thank you very much for having me up here. And as I mentioned, you're the manager of Shiga International Ski School, and based in Shiga Kogen Mountain Resort. And we'll get into the resort in a moment. But just before we do, I'm interested in your story. How did you end up here in Japan and in Nagano?
Actually, it's an interesting story because I used to cross-country ski race, and I ski raced for Ethiopia. And the World Championships were in 2007 in Sapporo in Japan. And before that, I used to work for a French company called Club Med. And they had a ski resort up in Hokkaido. So when I came in 2006-07 winter, they asked if I wanted to teach. And I teach alpine skiing and snowboard, cross-country, telemark, all that stuff. So they asked me if I wanted to do a winter season in Japan. At the time, to be honest with you, I had been to Japan before, but only to Tokyo. I didn't realize what an amazing winter season that Japan actually has. So I came that winter. and I worked for Club Med while training and doing the World Championships. And then I just saw the snow and the skiing, and I was just like, wow. And this is from a person that was teaching skiing and living in Colorado for many years. So I was just dumbfounded. So I was up in Hokkaido for about 8 years. And then one of my friends who started managing a hotel here in Shiga Kogen asked they would like to start a new ski school out here. And would you be interested? And at that time, I was a bit of a Hokkaido snob. I thought the only good snow, best skiing was only in Hokkaido because that's all I had really known. So I came down here and I visited, and I was just dumbfounded. And pretty much that same day, I handed in my resignation to the previous company I worked for and got going on starting something new here. And so that's how I ended up here, and I've never regretted it.
Let me jump back there a little bit, because I think listeners would have picked up on the fact that you said that you skied for Ethiopia.
Yes, I ski raced for Ethiopia in the Olympics for Torino in 2006 and 2010 in Vancouver.
Which events?
Cross-country skiing. I've been ski racing since I was about 12 years old, and I've wanted to represent Ethiopia for many years. Didn't know how it was going to happen. So when I was in college, I was actually at my peak of racing, and that was in the mid-90s. And there was no way to make that happen, and I didn't see any path. But funny enough, the whole reason that re-sparked that whole desire to ski race for Ethiopia was in the 1998 Olympics. I saw the Kenyans ski racing, and nothing against the Kenyans, but I grew up ski racing, and I saw them skiing, and I was like,
hold on a minute.
Are you kidding me? I was all-American in high school. I mean, I was racing at a very high level, and I was seeing them, and I was like, there's got to be a way. So it took many, many, many years, but eventually managed to start the Ethiopian Ski Association, which I'm chairman of, by the way. And so finally ended up getting my FIS license to race for Ethiopia. So that's how it all came about. And I don't really normally talk a lot about it. It was something for me, and it was to inspire other Ethiopians to do different sports other than running, because Ethiopians are only really known for running.
Are you a known entity in Ethiopia? If I was to drop your name in conversation, would people recognize it?
There's people that know of me, yes.
Yeah. Amazing. So obviously we're here today to talk largely about the ski resorts, as I said, Shiga Kogen Mountain Resort. And I guess when you are talking about Shiga, the very first thing that you need to talk about is the size, because Shiga Kogen, it's my understanding, is the largest ski resort in Japan. Even though a few ski resorts make this claim, it is in fact Shiga which is the largest. Am I correct in saying that?
It is the largest interconnected ski resort in Japan. That is correct. You get one pass that operates as one ski area, and it is the largest. It will take you 3 days to try to ski every single trail.
Yeah, so just like Hakuba, just like Niseko, it's an all-mountain pass that covers all areas.
Correct. But it's also interconnected. That's the biggest difference. I mean, for example, in Niseko and Hakuba, you can get one pass that covers several different ski areas, but then you have to transfer from one ski area to the other, versus in Shiga Kogen, almost all of it is interconnected. So you can be on your skis all day, bouncing from one of the mountains to the other. They're all interconnected with trails and lifts.
So in my understanding, that's around 600 hectares is the total size of the resort, and around 425 of those are totally connected.
Yes, in terms of the actual trails. Now, if you start including the accessible off-piste areas, it's even bigger than that.
The total size, when we say 600 hectares, we're talking about on-piste, the marked ski runs. Which is
correct.
And so notably larger than Hakuba. So Hakuba, for example, it's my understanding, totals to around 1,000 hectares, but that's accounting for all 10 resorts in the valley. The largest extent of interconnected terrain in Hakuba is Hapo One, which is around 220 hectares. Outside of that, you're going to have to get on to buses or drive yourself between the resorts to get smaller ski fields. But Shiga, total of around 600, and of which is around 425 is totally connected. Now, we're sitting in the Okushiga ski fields of Shiga Kogen. So let's start from there. Can you just give us an idea as to the areas that make up the overall ski resort and, what distinguishes one from the other, starting with Okushiga? What's good about this spot?
I love this spot. No, Okushiga is in the very north end of Shiga Kogen. If you are looking at Shiga Kogen, there's basically two ends of it. There's the Yokoteyama Shibutoge area, which actually, Shibutoge is actually in Gunma. There's actually a place where you can be one ski in Gunma, one ski in Nagano. So that's one end, and then we're in the extreme other end. So it's in the very northern end. The best part about, I think for me, Okushiga is a lot of the trails face north. This gets really good snow quality. And it's a bit more quieter. It skis more like if you wait in a lift line for 2 minutes, that's a long wait. There's not that many beds. I mean, there's 2 hotels here and 8 pensions. There's not many beds. So on the weekends, sometimes, yes, it can get a little busy, and during the holidays, Japanese holidays, with daily drivers that come up. But in general, especially for foreigners, during the weekdays, it's like a private ski area. We don't get school trips here. You do have school trips in Shiga Kogen. They tend to be more in Takamagahara, Ichinose, those kinds of areas.
Where there's also bigger hotels.
Yeah, and there's a lot more hotels, more beds available. But the school trips themselves, to be honest, at first I was very worried, but it's actually not bad. Most of the times they let you pass all of them. That being said, one of the reasons why in the Okushiga area and even Yakebitai Mountain, which is right next to us, there's not really that many school trips. So it tends to be more of just skiers, private skiers that are just...
Yeah, because it's important to say Okushiga is the kind of deepest part of the connected part of the resort, the furthest you can go into the mountain. And that connects through to Yakebitai, which connects to Ichinose. And my experience is that, because obviously the busiest part of the resort, and Shiga is not busy compared to resorts like Niseko or Hakuba, but the busiest part of the resort is around Ichinose, Takamagahara. And most skiers and snowboarders don't tend to come all over here. It takes that little bit more effort to get here. Very little effort because everything is nicely connected. Good, a bunch of gondolas and chairlifts over here to do that. But I find that everybody tends to, especially beginners, they all stay around the central area. And by the time you get to Yakebitai and then into Okushiga, most people who are here are intermediate to advanced as well, which is quite nice. So the ski runs aren't cut up by people just sitting in the middle of them. So
yeah, no, it's a journey to come here on skis because, like I said, there's only 2 hotels here and there's another 8 pensions. So the people that stay here, they will ski here and they'll start from here. But for the other people, but that's the same thing we were talking about earlier. Shiga Kogen is so massive that it's not because it's so difficult to come and get here. There's easy beginner slopes you can use to get here. The thing is, it's just huge. So, dude, I do tours for guests here where we will ski Shiga Kogen and take a different lift and a different trail all day. Never do the same thing twice. And that's how big it is. I mean, you never have to ski the same trail twice. And even then, I have to bypass so many trails to make sure we can do that loop. Yeah. So that's the reason why Okushiga is so far tucked up here that for the journey to get up here is a bit long for a lot of people. They don't have the time. They're just enjoying themselves on their way out here.
So in that regard, given the size of the ski resort, do you have a suggestion to listeners? How many days do you need up here to get the most out of it and to really feel like you've experienced all of it?
It will take you 3 days. If you wanted to ski every single trail in Shiga Kogen, it will take 3 days. And that's making an effort to ski every single different trail. That being said, if you spent 2 weeks up here, you will not get bored. You literally will find different things. And the great thing about Shiga Kogen is that it's not, there's some ski areas where it's like just this one side of a mountain and there's trails coming down like this, right? So it's all facing north or facing south or facing east. Shiga Kogen is like in a valley on mountains. So you have backside. So you have sides that are facing north, facing south, facing east. It's facing west. It's in a valley. I mean, you're crossing roads on skier bridges. You're crossing roads under tunnels, going to completely different aspect. So there's just different character to all the different areas. So you will not get bored. And that's what I'm saying is like, for example, if you want to do moguls one day, there's certain areas here and there that are really amazing. If you want backcountry, you come towards Okushiga, you have easy access, easy entry, easy exit places where you can actually do that. If you want to explore different restaurants, different things. So you will not get bored. I mean, I know people that have come here for 2 weeks and every time they come back, they just have a huge grin on their face.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because the other thing worth mentioning in regards to Shiga, not only is it the largest ski resort, it's the highest ski resort in Japan. So it goes up to just over 2,300 meters in Yokoteama. Yokoteama is one part of the resort which is not connected. So you need to either drive yourself over or get one of the buses to take you over there. But that goes up to 2,300 meters, 2,307 I think is the
correct
exact. To put that in comparison, again in Hakuba, the highest ski resort is Hapaone at just I think around 1,850.
A little over, 1,800 meters, yeah.
And my understanding, I've only snowboarded in Hokkaido once, so you would know it much better than I do. I think the highest ski resort in Hokkaido is only around 1,600 meters. Does that sound about right?
On average, most of the ski areas in Hokkaido are around 1,000 to 1,250, 1,300 meters. I think there's Sahidake might be a little bit higher. There's a tram that takes you up there. But in general, Hokkaido is much lower, the mountains, but it's also further north. As traditional ski areas go, Shiga Kogen is the highest ski area. But if I am correct, there is one other chairlift that actually goes up higher than 2,307, but it doesn't open until April. Like it's closed all winter, opens for spring skiing or something like that. But yeah, Shiga Kogen is the highest ski area in Japan.
So if I'm thinking correctly, Shiga Kogen, the entire resort is located from around 1,330 meters to 2,307.
Correct.
So obviously, with that altitude, it's known for its very reliable snow, and it enjoys the longest ski season of any resort in Nagano. So in terms of coming here, Robel, like when can you expect snow from and until when?
The first slopes here normally open up in second to third week of November, but that's because of the elevation, they can make man-made snow. So normally when early season opens is a combination of natural snow and man-made snow. For the diehards, that's when you can start.
And these are the higher areas. So we're talking about Yokoteama, Kumanoyu. Which are the first areas?
Yeah, normally it's Kumanoyu, Yokoteama, and then Ichinose, Takamagahara, and Yakebitai Mountains. They will open up. They're the earliest ones that open up. But in general, a lot of the slopes on a regular year will start opening up around first, second week of December. And then by Christmas, most everything is pretty much open and starting to be interconnected. If you really want to experience the whole Shiga Kogen experience, if you come just before Christmas or after Christmas for the interconnected experience, I think that's the best time. And then January is phenomenal. February is phenomenal. March is also amazing. There's another thing that I want to mention about Shiga Kogen because of the elevation is that it reminds me a lot of the ski areas in Europe and Colorado and Utah with the elevation, because the snow quality tends to stay nice because the air temperature is actually quite cold. So it will be like -6, -7 is the air temperature. But because of the elevation and the sun, especially, it feels warmer on your skin. So for example, when I was in Hokkaido, when it's -7, -8, because of the lower elevation, you feel it. You know what I mean? The sun is not as strong. Here you get this just deep blue skies, and that's really like one of the other things I really like about Shiga Kogen is because of the elevation. The reason why I mentioned that is it feels really good and much warmer than it really is, but the air temperature itself is so cold that the snow quality still stays good.
And in terms of the snow quality, because we are further from the coast here than a lot of other Nagano resorts, further than Hakuba, further than, for example, Nozawa, Madarao, or Miyoko Kogen in Niigata. So we are further from the coast. How does the snow compare to the other Nagano resorts or Hokkaido?
The snow quality here is phenomenal. It's really, really good. Especially like from all the areas that are above 1,600 meters. I mean, the average base area of the ski areas in Shiga Kogen is like 1,600 meters. So that's the average base. So Takamagahara is 1,650. Yokoteyama is 1,750. Okushiga Gondola is 1,600. Okushiga here, the main area, is 1,500. All these areas and above, the snow quality tends to be dry, light, more inland. We didn't talk about it earlier, but Shiga Kogen is just above where the snow monkeys are. So that town is a 1,000-year-old town. It's called Yudanaka Shibu Onsen. It's a 1,000-year-old hot springs town. It's where the samurai used to go to recover from. Great history, another conversation, but an amazing place down there as well. But basically, that's at the base of Shiga Kogen, and that's where the snow monkeys are, the ones that take the hot springs. So basically from there to come up to Shiga Kogen, you're gaining almost 1,000 meters in vertical.
I want to jump back a little bit because you mentioned that you kind of got your beginnings in Japan, in Hokkaido, and that you kind of, I think you described yourself earlier as a Hokkaido snob to begin.
Yeah.
And I think when you said that the snow here rates just as good as the Hokkaido snow, I think some people might hear that and say, really it does? But you really see it like that? You really see that Shiga Kogen the snow is as good as anywhere else?
Absolutely. On a good day here, it's oof. Oh my God. You know, I'll tell you a little something. My instructors here, when they first arrive, and it's their first time up here, and they start getting really, really excited on powder days. And I'm like, they're trying to skip out from teaching and everything like that. I just want to go ski. And I'm like, guys, don't worry. You're going to have just amazing winter. You're going to have great snow. And I normally tell them, listen, there'll come a day where there'll be knee-deep powder and it's your day off and you will look out the window and you're going to contemplate whether you're going to go ski or not because it's cloudy. And you're waiting for a blue sky on a knee-deep powder. They're like, no way, man. Knee-deep powder, I'm out there. And sure enough, every winter, okay, I got you. No, it really is. The snow quality here is amazing. It's so dry and light. I mean, this is Okushiga and Yakebitai, Ichinose as well. If you go towards January into mid-February, that's the lowest part of Shiga Kogen. That's around 1,350 meters. It's still good then. And it'll be dry and light. But here it's...
Terakoya. I always find Terakoya as well. You get nice powder up there because Terakoya is just a bit up from the backside of Higashi Tateyama, which was one of the Olympic courses or one of the Olympic.
The GS was held there, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people get up there and there's a gondola getting you to the top of Higashi Tateyama and then people bomb down. But if you take the trouble of going off the backside, I keep saying trouble, it's not trouble at all. If you just drop off the backside and then one more chairlift up, you get to Terakoya. Yeah. And it's usually devoid of people and often is full of powder.
Yeah, and Terakoya itself is like, 2,100 something meters. Yeah, it's pretty high up as well.
Picturesque part of the resort.
It's beautiful for the scenery, and you got the snow monsters and stuff like that up there. No, the scenery there is absolutely gorgeous.
Robel, let's jump on to what you do here in Shiga Kogen as the manager of the Shiga International Ski School. What services do you provide and when are you open?
So we are we offer just about everything. So normally private lessons were open from when the first trails open until the trails close. So we offer private lessons from November until Golden Week. So our ski season here lasts till the first week of May. So we will do private lessons throughout that. Group lessons and our full package of lessons. So we offer kids group lessons and adult group lessons for skiing. And then we also offer group lessons for adult in snowboard or 12 years and older. And that we normally start the second week of December and we go until the first weekend of April. So we have the group lessons start out in Shiga just for logistics. So so we offer group lessons. The thing is, our maximum size is 6, but we normally try to keep it around 3 to 4 per group. We try to keep small groups for better quality lesson. The best thing about it is where our ski school is located is one of the best places, especially for first timers to learn at, as well as for advanced skiers because of what is offered here. But that chairlift one is like a ski instructor's dream. It makes you feel like you're a superhero instructor because you can really get first timers within 45 minutes rocking and skiing. But yeah, and then we offer the group lessons out of here, but private lessons we offer, and we can come to you anywhere in Shiga Kogen. So there's over 80 hotels. So the private lessons, we're a little bit more flexible on start time. It's up to you. Anywhere from 2 hours up to 6 hours, you can book for private lessons, and I send the instructors to you. And the good thing is our instructors chalet is located centrally in Shiga Kogen. So it's very easy for them. Normally they ski to work, it's a good life.
And so ski lessons, and I understand also you mentioned earlier that you do some tours.
Yeah, so we provide, it falls under private lessons, but we have customers because Shiga Kogen is so big that just for, the first day, they want somebody to kind of show them around where everything is at, where the good restaurants are, where this kinds of trails are and everything, just to know the lay of the land. So we do tours like that. We do also offer backcountry tours, but it's not really kind of like backcountry the way you would think, like in, I don't know, like in the West per se. It's tree skiing. It's more like side country, which is what I think it's more like. And it's easy entry, easy exit. You don't need skins. You don't need to hike or anything. And it's more to guide people. And those normally they do with us for like a half a day, just so they know where not to go, where is a good place to go. And the terrain that's available in Shiga, you can spend 1 week here doing the same terrain in the trees and you will not get bored. And to give you an idea, my instructors on their days off, they can go anywhere in Shiga Kogen, but where do they come? They come to Shiga.
Yeah. Just on that, because I plan to do an upcoming episode about the backcountry in Shiga. How does it compare to the backcountry of Hokkaido, Hakuba, these places in terms of, is it the kind of, backcountry comes with certain, risks and realities. Is it the kind of backcountry that you can take yourself into and you're relatively safe, or you would recommend getting a guide to do that?
I would recommend getting a guide for at least your first day, for a half day, just to know where it's allowed, not allowed, to know where it's safe, where you're not going to end up in a riverbed, and you're going to spend 2-3 hours hiking out because you went the wrong way. That's the one thing I was saying. Like the Shiga one is nice because the access gates are there. So if you enter there, you're going to go out into a nice place. You're not going to end up in someplace ridiculous. But the rest of Shiga Kogen,
you have to register to go through the gates?
No, you don't. But you just need to be partnered up with somebody, and you just need to have the backpack with the gear that's necessary. That being said, also, it's a lot of the terrain, I think, as you know, you've been skiing in Japan, is a lot of it is less than 40 degrees. So and if you know, and you've skied in Japan, which I'm pretty sure you have, they don't do a lot of avalanche maintenance because a lot of the skiing they allow is on terrain that's not necessarily avalanche prone. So in general, it's there. That being said, I think Niseko, Hakuba, those places are definitely for the backcountry, are a bit more developed and have had more years developing it than Shiga Kogen has. So Shiga Kogen is starting to open that up and explore it and do a better job of it every year, but it's not quite up to the extent of tours and guides and stuff that's available like you would find in Niseko or in Hokkaido or in Hakuba.
And if anyone is interested in getting in contact with the ski school to book lessons or a tour, how do they do that?
Shigaskischool.com.
Couldn't be any easier.
Yeah, very easy, very simple. Like, when we came here, actually, there was no international ski school. We're the only international ski school in Shiga Kogen. And there was nothing there before it. The other ski schools would have one or two or maybe 3 instructors that are foreigners on their team. There was a few ski schools that did that, but there was no ski school that was dedicated for inbound clientele. So our sister ski school, actually, like to mention, is Sugiyama Ski School, is one of the most well-known ski schools in all of Japan. And the primary stakeholder of our ski school is the owner of Sugiyama Ski School. The guy who started Sugiyama Ski School is also a Japanese Olympian from back in the day, in the 50s. So, and this Sugiyama Ski School has been here for over 60 years. They're our sister ski school. So basically we work in tandem with them where we take care of all the foreign clientele or English speaking or English. We also have many Japanese that want their kids or to be in an English speaking environment for lessons. And they take care of all the Japanese speaking clientele.
Given the size of the resort that we've spoken about, one of the confusing things for especially first-time visitors is where to stay. Can you give any advice on the best areas to stay? Because one of the tricks with Shiga, it doesn't have a really developed central village like Nozawa or Hakuba, these places. So, Robel, any thoughts on good places to stay or some of the more convenient places?
I think that's going to be up to you on what you're looking after. Because, like I said, there's over 80 hotels in Shiga Kogen. So if you want a little bit of more of the village kind of life, places you can walk to, go to a bar and different restaurants and different things like that, then definitely stay in Ichinose or Takamagahara. Ichinose and Takamagahara are right next to each other. So you can walk from Takamagahara to Ichinose, Ichinose to Takamagahara. There's no like, it's not like a place that you go to where you have independent restaurants that are set apart from a hotel or anything like that. That being said, almost all the hotels have restaurants that you can go into and dine at that restaurant. So you don't necessarily need to book your dinner at your hotel. You can go to another hotel. So they're all inside hotels. There's definitely options. So I would say, like, if you want that kind of thing, it's more central as well. Ichinose, Takamagahara is basically the very middle of Shiga Kogen. Now, if you're looking more for hot springs, like hot springs are your thing and you really want hot springs, Takamagahara has all the hotels in Takamagahara are also hot springs hotels. But if you really are into your hot springs, Kumano-yu, it's its own little section of Shiga Kogen. That's also the other kind of little village area within Shiga Kogen. There's several hotels there that you can walk around to and explore. If you're looking more of like, you just want a packaged deal where you don't have to worry about, then definitely you go Prince Hotel, Okushiga, or something like that. If you want more really 5-star, then you go towards the Hotel Grand Phoenix.
Which is here in Okushiga.
Yeah, it's in Okushiga. It's actually where the royal family takes their ski holidays. But if you're looking for 5-star, that's the case. Then if you're looking more for like bed and breakfast and stuff, it's also here in Okushiga. Because there's some of these bed and breakfasts here are awesome. They're amazing. There's 8 of them. And that's more of like a more cozy atmosphere. So it really depends on what you're after. But I think you can get it. But the one thing that I will be honest with you, I mean, I'm not going to lie, is that if you're after a crazy nightlife and that's really what you're after, you don't have. Can you have nightlife? Yes. There is plenty of bars that you can go to and enjoy and have a good time, but it's not quite like Hakuba or Nisei.
Yeah, I think it's worth being really clear on that point. I mean, if après is a big part of your kind of, priority for you, then you're going to have a better time in Nozawa or Hakaba. Right, that stuff is there. There is nightlife here, but nothing as developed as that. The other thing which Shiga doesn't have yet is high-end, self-contained accommodation, chalets that exist in Hakaba. Starting to come in Nozawa now, not yet in Shiga.
The main reason is that Shiga Kogen sits on National Park, so it's all really, that's the amazing part of it about it, which makes it pristine. But at the same time, for development, it's not as easy to develop new projects here and there as quickly.
But also, and you kind of touched on it earlier, actually another option for accommodation here is staying in Shibu Onsen or Yudanaka Onsen, which are only 25, 30 minutes drive down the mountain from the lowest parts of the ski resort. So that's an option if you wanted to stay there and then drive yourself up each day or use the buses. But you do have that, being very clear, you do have to get yourself up and down from the resort each day if you do that.
If you're driving from Shibu Onsen or Yudanaka or Kambayashi, it's actually more like 10, 15 minutes to get to Sun Valley. But I'm a daily driver. I know the roads and everything, and I'm comfortable with the roads. So it takes me about 10 minutes to get to Sun Valley. But yeah, if you're the average tourist or the person who has never been here, if you give yourself 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to be on the slopes right away. And then that you mentioned that, what's actually kind of a cool thing to do if you come to Shiga Kogen is if you rent a car, yes, definitely you can stay down there and drive up. And it's actually an amazing place to explore from, aside from Shiga Kogen, because from Shibu Onsen Yudanaka, you can also explore Rio ski area. Madarao is only 30, 40 minutes. Nozawa is only 40 minutes away. So you can really explore. And you also have Yomase ski area, Kijimi Daira, X-Jam, Fuji. You have so many different places to explore. You can make that as a home base. Then there's many more restaurants and bars and all that stuff there. The other way I would do it is if you really are here for skiing, I would stay in Shiga Kogen, but definitely spend at least one night in Shibu Onsen.
Yeah, totally.
Your last night, spend it in Shibu Onsen, hot springs it out. You can actually walk around in a kimono or yukata and explore all these different hot springs that are all around the village. Steam coming out from the ground, you're walking through, and especially in the evenings, it's so picturesque. I mean,
it's retained a lot of its character, Shibu. It hasn't been overdeveloped. In some regards, Shibu is a bit undiscovered. It gets more and more attention each year from international visitors, but still hasn't got the profile of other areas. It's really good. Before I forget to ask, I want to ask one more question about the resort, because one thing that comes up from international visitors is in terms of rental here. If they don't want to bring their skis or their snowboard with them, is there high-quality rental outlets in Shiga? And if so, where are they? Where?
Okay, so Okushiga definitely has. Almost all the hotels have their own rentals, but you just need to be careful at which hotel. That being said, within a short distance of those hotels, there is good quality rentals. So if you don't want to rent from your hotel. So yes, there is. In the Maruike, Hasuike area and the Yamanoeki stop, there's really good brand new ski rental facility there. That's the main station, because not only from Nagano Station, from Osaka, from Tokyo, from Nagoya, all they have their express buses. That's the main hub that they'll take you to. So there's a ski rental facility there that's like brand new. Here, all our equipment will be brand new again this year. And then Prince Hotels, all their equipment is always up to date. That's fine. And then you have a ski rental company called Snowcan. I think they have 2 or 3 locations. They have a mixed bag of equipment, but they have high end up to very lower end. But
so if somebody wanted to rent through you guys but not do ski lessons or tours, that's fine. You just
yeah, that's totally fine.
And you, as we talked about, you're based in the Okushiga area. Do they have to come to Okushiga to get the gear, or do you guys drop it off to hotels?
They would have to come here. That being said, I mean, there is, like I said, there is good, if you're in the Ichinose area, for example, I think it's Chalet Shiga, they work with Head Ski Company, and they always have up-to-date gear there. So all the different hotels have actually rental facilities available at the hotel. The only thing I would check is just check with your hotel, wherever you book, about their ski rental, because some of the hotel's rental equipment is a bit out of date, if you know what I mean. But that being said, it doesn't mean you don't have access within a short walking distance to get some really good quality gear.
Awesome. Anything we've missed out on, Robel? I'm conscious of taking up a lot of your time this morning. So before we sign off, anything else sort of you'd like to throw in there about the resort or any tips?
Actually, you know what I would like to say is Shiga Kogen is a big part of this area, and this is where I've spent time. But for people that come here, I think they should really explore not just Shiga Kogen, but they should explore Shibu Onsen, Yudanaka. I mean, there's so many people that come here that come just to see the snow monkeys and they leave. And Shiga Kogen is crazy not to know about it because you can't see it.
Let me jump in there. I as a guide, I've guided to the monkeys literally hundreds of times. And this happened quite a few occasions in the middle of winter when obviously monkeys are there all year round, but people want to see them in the winter. I would have guests there sometimes and they would ask me, any skiing around here?
No, you're spot on.
You'd be like, well, just literally point up the mountain. You're in a valley and say, this is the largest ski resort in Asia, right above us. And they had no idea.
But you can't see it. You can't see the ski trails because Shiga Kogen is so hidden in this valley that until you get above. And that's actually one of the most spectacular things. I remember when I first came to visit was like, I don't know where you're taking me. There's no ski area here because my friend who I told you about brought me up here. And I remember getting to Sun Valley and making that turn towards Yamanoeki and then all of a sudden being like, oh my God, it's like the secret world that exists up here. You don't really see it until you're up here and then you realize this is a monster. And so most people don't realize that there's this gigantic ski area just above the hill. So,
Robel, thank you very much for your time this morning. I really do appreciate it, and looking forward to getting this interview out there because I think it's going to really hit. I think there's an audience for it. I'm a big fan of Shiga. I'd never heard of Shiga Kogen until I moved to Nagano. I've been in Japan many years and still had never heard of it. I came here, discovered this fantastic ski resort, as you say, huge with this long season, and I hope through this interview we can get a few more people up here and also a few people to the ski school to meet yourself.
I hope so as well. It's the hidden gem, honestly. It's an amazing place, which, by the way, I now call home. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. It's the longest I've ever spent in any one location. But yeah, it's an amazing place. We hope to see more people come out here and come join us out here in this magical little hidden wonder of the world.
Fantastic. Cheers, mate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode. Another big thank you to Robel for making time to speak with me. Should you want to get in touch with him and Shiga International Ski School, visit their website, shigaskischool.com. They're also on Instagram and Facebook. The podcast website is snowcountrystories.com. And you can follow us on all the usual social media platforms by searching Snow Country Stories Japan. If you're enjoying the podcast and haven't already, please subscribe and please write a quick review. They take no time at all and make a huge difference in the podcast apps picking up on the show and promoting it to other listeners. Sharing the pod with family and friends is also very helpful and always hugely appreciated. My name is Peter Carnell. This has been Snow Country Stories Japan. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with the next episode. Until then, it's bye for now.